guys. Today's video is going to be an emotional roller coaster. We are here to talk about the Darkest Minds series, specifically Never Fade, the sequel to The Darkest Minds, the beautiful sequel written by Alexandra Bracken, and things, all of the things. We got the laughing and the crying and the happy and the sad. I need to focus. Okay. I have been in a state all day since I finished that. Okay, so I started reading it a little while ago. I haven't had much time to read, and so I bought it the day it came out, tried to start reading it, but I didn't have time because I had school and etc. But then this weekend I finally had time, and I finally started getting into it, and I was like, whoa, things, stuff. And then last night, yesterday I was at page 308, I think. Yeah. So last night, after I had all my homework done, and I was after I showered, and I was time to get in bed for some reading before I go to sleep. And then I get in bed and I start reading, and then I look at my clock, and that was at 11:30. Look at my clock, 12:48. Let's see. There's enough pages left that I could finish it tonight. So that's what I did. I haven't slept since yesterday in the morning time. I woke up at 9:30 yesterday, and I have not slept since. I do not recommend this option when you have school the next day, because let me tell you, it was hell. I'm pretty sure I might have blacked out in my math class, but we'll let that go. I know I fell asleep for at least 4 minutes in psychology today. I know that happened. Got a little bit of, my English teacher got a little snippy with me because I was having trouble with my eyes, keeping them open. But anyways, it was worth it. But I don't recommend it. The staying up. The book I recommend wholeheartedly. That, 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Alexandra Bracken, rock on, girl. Love ya. You rock. Just, yeah. Let me talk about Alexandra Bracken for a second before I get into the spoilery section. Alright, Alexandra Bracken, you blow my mind every time I read a story. Every time I read one of your books, I go into them thinking, I don't even know what I'm thinking is going to happen, but then, I read them and I'm this is not what I expected, but I'm, super pleasantly surprised, and I'm what? Surprises? This? I didn't think this was going to happen. And, all this stuff happens, and I'm and that's the best kind of story to read, though, because I don't want to read stories that are predictable, and she makes the most unpredictable stories ever, and I love it. I love it. I love it. It's amazing. You are one of my favorite authors ever. Ever. Please continue writing. Always. You are a hero. Thank you. Okay. Now, if you have not read the book, leave. Go read it, because if you haven't even read the first one, go read that. Then immediately go read the second one, and then come back, because you need to read them. You have to. It's, just do it. Okay. Spoilery section! Okay, so, emotions? I got plenty. Okay, so, firstly, we got Ruby walking in here all like, girl, I use my powers now. Proud of you, Ruby. Super proud of you. Also, terrified. I was so scared like the entire time of the new Ruby, because like I got very frustrated with old Ruby. Don't get me wrong. She could be very frustrating with how timid she was, but I totally I understood it. Like totally get where you're coming from. You grew up in Thurmond, so I think that's how you pronounce it. Go with it. But like she could be seriously scary when she used her powers. Like in this book, like she was, especially when like the thing with Nox and Mason. Oh my goodness, I wanted to like cradle Mason in my arms and like just take care of him, just like hold him like a baby, like this, like that, yeah. And like Mason, I was like, I wanted him to live. I wanted him to live. He would have been such a cool character though. And then like, okay, I didn't feel bad for Nox. Like I did, but I didn't. He was an ass and he deserved it. And like when she came in and she was like, the girl sitting on his lap has like this huge bruise down her cheek, I was like, this dude, I want to punch in the dick. Sorry, but yeah. And then like they found Liam. I just skipped over like the whole first section, but like I'm sorry, just Liam. I missed him so much, and I cried for like 20 minutes after I finished The Darkest Minds because of what Ruby did. Because of that. I sobbed uncontrollably. I was so upset. And then like they found him and then he was sick and he was, oh my god. He was sick. And I was very emotional about it, and I love him so much, and he is one of my favorite like male characters like ever. I love their relationship too. Like there's not a love triangle. They love each other. They love each other, and they work through obstacles, and they just they go. And I was so mad at Ruby at the end of The Darkest Minds, but at the same time, I understood where she was coming from. And then Liam, in this book, when he was like, you didn't give me a choice, you needed to give me a choice, like, I can't believe you did this to yourself. I totally understood where he was coming from, but I understood where Ruby was coming from, and I just, like, I was a wreck. And I don't understand where their relationship is at this point, because, like, the end. I'm skipping around a lot, I know, but my brain is scattered right now. So, like, the end, when Cole's giving this, like, huge speech, and Ruby, like, I'm so mad at Ruby right now, because I'm like, no, I still don't trust the League. I know that they're, like, the good guys got it back, but I don't trust the League. I don't trust them. I don't trust Cole. I don't trust him. I think he's willing to take things too far, and I don't trust him. And I think that Ruby needs to be on Liam's side with this, because I think Liam is 100% right. And I'm very upset about it. And she was like, he looked into my face, and he knew that, like, I was like, blah, blah. And then, like, I was, like, on their side. And then he was like, I have nothing more to say to you then. And then, like, he walked away from her. And then, like, he came back. And then the building collapsed. And then they were all coupley again. Because, like, they were about to die. And I totally get that. And then, like, I don't understand where they're at in their relationship. Because they're angry with each other, like, so much that they're not together. But they love each other. And I don't understand where they're at. And I need closure. Jude. My boy Jude. My sweet boy Jude. I have some I'm getting can we not talk about Jude? I'm just not going to talk about Jude. I can't talk about Jude. I didn't cry when Jude died, but it's like I'm very upset about it, but I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Skipping. Jude. Skipping to another team member. Vita. I loathed Vita at the beginning of this book. I was like, girl, don't you talk to Ruby like that. Don't you dare talk to Ruby like that. And then, like, the book goes on, and then, like, halfway through, I'm like, wait. Vita's cool. Vita's defending Ruby. Vita's funny. I love Vita now. Like, Vita's one of my favorite characters. Like, oh, boo. Oh, bitch, don't get stabbed again. One of my favorite lines in the whole book. I love Vita. Chubbs was concerning me. This book. Chubbs is different. And I miss Zoo. I miss Zoo a lot. I understand now why she was the main character of In Time, because I totally thought that, this was my theory about In Time, I thought that it was going to be like the Skip Tracer and he like finds Liam. Well, I didn't think he was going to be a Skip Tracer. I thought he was going to be just like a dude and like him and Liam like meet up, and then Liam like just remembered Ruby, like because he would not forget Ruby, no matter if she took his memories away or not. No. And he didn't. He didn't. But I thought that he was gonna like find this dude, and they were like gonna like set off on this like journey to find Ruby, and then it was gonna like bridge into Neverfade, but then like it was gonna like go for like a long span of time, and then like Neverfade was gonna be like in Ruby's perspective, and it was gonna be basically like when he and the guy first met, like it would start there, like in her perspective, like from where she was, so she wouldn't know about any of that, and then like it would meet like in the middle somehow. But I'm really glad that she put Zoo in Time, and she like made it about Zoo, because Zoo wasn't in Neverfade, and I love Zoo. She was such a cool character, and like I hope she comes back in the third book. I really want to know the name of the third book. That's off topic, but I need to know it. Like, because this whole sentence thing, like the darkest minds never fade, and then like I don't know what to do. Okay. Back to things. Okay. Clancy. Don't hate me for this, he's one of my favorite characters. I love him. I adore him. Firstly, he's one of my favorite villains of any book. He's an amazing villain. And secondly, I love him as just a character. He's crazy. Like, crazy. And it makes him such an interesting character. And, like, to see him develop, like, okay, I wrote, like, notes on this whole, like, can you see that? There we go. I wrote, like, notes on this whole thing. Like, I think that, Clancy has this thing that I'm gonna call, like, a kingdom complex, where he, like, it's kind of like a rule, like, he wants to rule the world, basically, like, and he wants to, like, control everyone with his powers, and he wants Ruby to be his queen. Like, he made that very clear in The Darkest Minds, and it was weird to me that he didn't, like, seem quite so much like that in Neverfade, but to be honest, we didn't see that much of him, like, in Neverfade, and I thought he was gonna come in, like, way earlier. Like, every bad thing that happened, I was like, Clancy's gonna be there. It's gonna be Clancy. Clancy's there. I don't know how he did it, but he's here. And then he wasn't, and then... But, yeah. But, anyways, I think he has a kingdom complex, and I think that he wants Ruby to be his queen, and then I think that East River was, like, his temporary kingdom, like, his test run for, like, how things would go. And what else? Okay, here are my questions about him for this book. I was a little disappointed in him in this book. He wasn't as, like, ruthless and scary, and, like, he was terrifying in The Darkest Minds. Like, I was scared shitless reading that book, and I loved it. Like, is he unraveling? Like, is this to do with his mom? Is he doing this on purpose? Like, is he being kind of easier on purpose? But then, like, the whole thing with the cure, and then I don't know. I need the third book, like, I need it. Okay, this book, I've been talking for like 15 minutes, but anyways, this book series is one of my favorite book series of all time. Like, I love it so much, and like, it's just, it gets to me, like, it gets in my soul, and like, I just love it. I made a whole blog just dedicated to this. Like, I made a whole Tumblr, like, aside from my personal Tumblr, and like, made it just dedicated to this. Like, it is, I've never done that before. I love these books. Okay, that, I have to go now. But, thank you for watching. Goodbye!